Welcome back to Big Mouth. Is Kate Oates the Messiah Eastenders needs? I think yes she is. I've been campaigning against the BBC's leadership of Eastenders for over a decade now. I've been making videos, I've been having arguments with people who work on the show, who have worked on the show. I've been blocked by them, I've blocked them because I'm extremely passionate about what's happened to this show. The quality started to dive around 2005, and unless you were an idiot doing too many drugs at the time, basically you would have noticed the quality go down from the Kate Harwood era. And then we went on to Brian Kirkwood, which was disastrous. I don't know what happened there, because Brian's work on Hollyoaks has been absolutely outstanding, and that cannot be questioned. And we've gone from disaster to disaster to disaster. The kind of EastEnders we've had since 2005 is that type of, I don't know how to explain it. You know when they do those gags and you think, oh my God, this is so cringy. This is even funny. And why is EastEnders doing these gags anyway? EastEnders was famous for being 100% gritty, compelling drama. Some people used to call it compelling. I would suggest that those people shouldn't be watching the show in the first place. Because that's not depressing. Compelling drama is something beautiful when it's done in the right way. And from 1985 to 2003 and 2004, EastEnders was a very viable show. But then the BBC's mentality changed, and they wanted to give the audience an EastEnders for teenagers. But they couldn't even do that. This is why they brought Brian Kirkwood in the first place, because they thought, look what he's done on Hollyoaks. He can do the same for us. So they wanted to make a teen soap, and it didn't work because every time they developed a teen character, they were crap, they were boring. We had Lauren Branning, who has never worked for me. And please don't get me started on the despicable event where both sisters fell off the Vic roof and Lauren survived even after having a terrible fall. And her sister Abby ended up brain dead and eventually flatlined, right? Don't get me started on that. Well, you have got me started on that. That was outrageous. They did that on purpose because they want to bring her back. And I think they will bring her back. And for me, that's going to be disappointing. But I don't know if Kate Oates will do that. I know that John York probably planned on bringing her back. So whether that will still happen under Kate Oates, I don't know. But anyway, let's talk about Kate Oates, right? EastEnders is now in a desperate situation. It really is. The numbers are rock bottom. They're not consistent, the numbers, and they're just a show in disarray. When you look at this Sharon Keanu storyline, which is so cringy, so embarrassing, it doesn't work. It certainly doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for many people. Some people are loving it, and that's up to them. But this isn't the kind of story that's going to get EastEnders back on track. Nothing they do. The stabbing thing they tried to do was an absolute fail. It was embarrassing to watch. It never worked. And they were proudly shouting about this. And now they want to be given an NTA for it. No, you don't deserve it. And they probably will get an NTA for it. And if they do get a national TV award for it, I'll be on Twitter and I'll be getting on that EastEnders page and I'll be saying why it shouldn't have happened. You don't run a soap the way EastEnders has been run for over 10 years. But anyway, Kate Oates' job on Emmerdale and Coronation Street is substantially outstanding. The problem that Emmerdale and Coronation Street fans had with her is her type of storyline can be very compelling, can be very violent, and she likes to deal with gritty social issues. That's not really what Emmerdale and Coronation Street have been in their history. Now, Emmerdale's actually been a more violent show, and she suited Emmerdale a lot more than she suited Coronation Street. I think her coming on Coronation Street, you can see what she was doing. It wasn't Coronation Street, and people didn't like that, but I still think the numbers were pretty outstanding. And her Bethany Platt storyline was amazing, and it was really good, and a lot of people said it was good. But Die-hard Coronation Street fans just weren't happy because literally there was no comedy, there was no levity anymore. And Coronation Street's famous for its comedy, and I think that's why. Now, I don't think I was going to say this, that's why she was removed, but I don't know if she was. I know earlier this year she was talking about staying for another 2 years, and all of a sudden she's leaving Coronation Street, which put ITV Studios in a lot of trouble because they had to take the guy from Emmerdale, put him in charge of Coronation Street, and put someone else who was already working on the show in charge of Emmerdale. And I think this is why you got this urgent need to bring Kim Tate back, because they really didn't have a plan without that guy. So what happens is she's made this massive offer by BBC to run continuing drama. Now, when I heard this, I was kind of disappointed because I wanted her to run EastEnders, because I think she's perfect for EastEnders. It's only when I heard not only will she be running continuing drama, she'll actually be the showrunner for EastEnders, which is amazing, and I think is actually unprecedented. To be fair, running Holby City and Casualty is a lot easier because you've got other people already there, and Holby and Casualty are in a good position. Maybe they're a lot more soapy than they should be. Kate might sort that out. But her job, the reason she's been recruited, is to save EastEnders, to make it a better show, a better soap. So what's she going to do? Well, first off, when someone takes over a soap, everyone goes, they're going to get rid of this one, get rid of that one. We want them to get rid of this one and that one. It never happens because contracts have to be honoured. So you've heard her talking about the Carters remaining in the Vic. Whatever she says publicly, you've just got to ignore, because she's just keeping everyone sweet until the contracts come up for renewal. Then she will make the decision she has to make. She will either do a better job with the Carters than DTC did, than John York has done, or she will remove them either from the show or she'll take them out of the Vic. If she does a good job on them, if she finds a better way of doing them in the Vic, then they'll stay. My ultimate prediction is that Dyer will not last. He will not get another contract. That's my opinion. If I know Kate Oates, I think she probably loves Kelly, and I think she realises that Kelly is a really good actor, and that Danny Dyer is just, he can't act. I'm sorry, Danny, you can't act. It's as simple as that. What I think she will do, she will probably have Stuart murder Mick Carter. This is what I think anyway. I think eventually Mick Carter will get murdered and Linda will be a widow. And I think she'll be able to develop more stories with that character. And that's what I think is going to happen. And I think EastEnders fans will be very shocked if and when it does. That's my prediction. So he's there. They're in that Vic until the contracts are up and she can move things around. So this is why she's not going to rock any boat. She's going to come in and say what she did on Emmerdale and what she did on Coronation Street. No one needs to worry. No one's going to go. And then, boom, once those contracts come up for renewal, then she's going to strike. She's also very strict with her cast. She doesn't allow certain things to go out via social media. And she does keep a third eye on what her cast will post on social media. So she is very up on that. She does know what it's all about. Look, Kate Oates is a very, very talented creative. And she's a very, very clever woman. And I think she's very honest as well when she comes out publicly. And I know I've just said don't listen to what she says, but I just think that showrunners often kind of misrepresent situations. She hasn't said that these people are going to stay forever. She's just saying, I've come to run EastEnders. We've got a great cast. Of course she's going to say that publicly. But behind the scenes, she'll be making plans for when those contracts are finished. So she's a very clever lady. I like what she says about comedy in soap, and she talks about comedy within the drama, which basically means not making special plans to have kind of comedy kind of characters and kind of sitcom moments, that they just come out naturally via the drama. And it's something that I've always liked within my own writing as a creative as well. I just think look, the woman is my cup of tea. I don't know her. I've never met her. As a creative, I idolise the woman. But I do agree she was probably the wrong fit for Coronation Street because of the dark, gritty way she writes stuff. But for EastEnders, I've always said this. She is tailor-made for this show because she can be compelling. She can be violent. She can be a lot more hardcore with the kind of social issues she's going to be doing. Now, what's vitally important here is that the BBC don't interfere with her vision for the show. If they don't interfere, like they did with Brian Kirkwood especially, we could have something very special, and EastEnders could be the top soap again, winning every single award. That's only if you allow Kate to do what she does best, which is storytelling. She's a very clever creative. She is fabulous. I mean, I saw what she did with the Cameron serial killer story in Emmerdale. That was brilliant. And, you know, the flood in the Woolpack and all that, that was like watching a movie. It was amazing. Now, some people who like current EastEnders, hey, maybe they're smoking too much drugs, I don't know. But the people who are happy right now are talking about over-sensationalism on soaps. Well, sorry, we're in 2018, nearly 2019. Soaps are sensationalistic now. There is a lot of violence. There are explosions and serial killers. You cannot run a soap in this day and age and attract a young audience by just having convos in the pub. Sorry, those days are gone. Gone. People want to see attractive people in roles. People want to see excitement. And they want to be, drawn to characters. And the problem is with EastEnders, apart from a couple of originals, they don't have that. They fucked Ian Beale up years ago. When I was a young boy, Ian Beale was this guy who was betrayed by Cindy. And his main priority was protecting and raising his children. He was a good man. And they made him a comedy element, a clown, a jugular, a twat. And I was disgusted by that because Ian Beale was always a stand-up, character. He's an original. His dad was Pete Beale. His mother's Kathy. And what have they done with Kathy since they brought her back? I remember that night DTC brought her back in EastEnders Live. I was amazed, shocked, happy. It was brilliant the way he brought it back and the way he was able to keep it secret. But since then, him and John York have not been able to do anything relevant with her. Paul Nicholas, as an evil nutter, who was her ex-husband or whatever, didn't work. I love Paul Nicholas. I love Paul Nicholas in Just Good Friends, in Bust, and that one when he's a vet. He was very good in the 80s and 90s. But you don't bring Paul Nicholas in a soap to do that. If anything, bring Paul Nicholas in as a cheeky chappy, as a kind of Vince from Just Good Friends. Hey, fuck it. Be creative. Be inventive. Bring him in as Vince from Just Good Friends. How awesome would that have been, right? But they don't think outside the box. I've had a plan for EastEnders for years. Is anyone listening to me? Who's going to listen to little old me, who's developing the first English-speaking dramas on Sitprit TV? Sitprit TV, what's that? Who are you? You're not important. Well, maybe I'm not important, but maybe I'm talking a little bit of sense, and maybe someone out there should have been listening to me. But maybe it's time for my campaign against the BBC's leadership of EastEnders to finish. If Kate Oats gives us the EastEnders we want, the EastEnders we crave, the EastEnders Tony and Julia created, people tell me times have moved on. You can't have that show. But that show is timeless. That show is compelling and dark. We need at least one compelling and dark soap. Every franchise needs that Arrow series, which is a little bit darker than the other shows, if you like. Why can't this be the dark soap? Why can't this be the show that has great characters and dark and gritty, compelling moments? I'm thinking that Kate Oats is going to have the freedom to do that. I hope she does, because this is really last chance saloons. The BBC have made bad decision after bad decision. The cast, one thing I would say as well, they have to totally have a different mentality towards casting. And I hope Kate can do something about that, because the cast that they've been bringing onto the show, I'm sorry, a lot of them are not good enough. Some of them are good enough, but are given shit scripts, right? And that's part of the problem. So sometimes you can't judge an actor because it's shoddy directing, it's shoddy writing, it's rushed through. Because TV's a sausage factory, right? I don't mean it's a porno with loads of guys with their things out. I mean, it's a factory, right? They just want to the problem is they want to get through it and put the product out. But if you notice with Coronation Street and Emmerdale, they have to do, Emmerdale puts out 6 episodes a night, but still gives us the quality like Chaz and Paddy losing their child. I was in tears. When has EastEnders done that lately? I'm sorry I'm getting animated. I'm sorry I'm getting angry, because there's talented people working on television, and now they can work on a conveyor belt but still put out quality. But EastEnders can't. We're actually putting a couple of episodes less a week than the ITV soaps. So why can't they do better? They can do better. They will do better under Kate Oates. Leave her alone. Let her do what she needs to do. And it will be my absolute honour one day to work with her on that show, because she is, apart from Brian Kirkwood, who I agree made a mess of EastEnders, but on Hollyoaks, I'm so impressed with him. So him and Kate Oates are the creatives on the soap I really look up to. When I look at the product that they've done, I think, yeah, you are really talented. So what she needs to do is darker, grittier storylines, better casting, and spend more time on storylines so they're chiselled out. So when they do last for a few months, they don't bore the audience. They go, oh, this is going on for too long. That's the big complaint of soap audiences. Oh, they're dragging this story out. Well, listen, you can't have a soap that's been running since forever and have quick storylines. That's stupid, and that wouldn't work. But you can do it in a way where people don't notice it's a long, drawn-out storyline. We see it on like the American shows where they have an arc. It never looks drawn out because they're clever at doing it. I remember 24. That was never boring, and it was the same story throughout that season. And EastEnders can be the 24 of our UK soaps. It can go back to the quality it had. And Kate Oates is the Messiah that we need. And it's the right time, because it's Last Chance Saloons. This is what we needed. Credit to the BBC for going out there and saying, are you happy to come here? Are you ready to leave ITV? Personally, I think Oates' ambition was always EastEnders. I think that she knows that this show's been in turmoil as long as I've known that this show's been in turmoil. Look what she did to Emmerdale. Look what she did with Coronation Street. She has the ability to do something special with this show. Please, back her, give her a chance, and be patient, because there's a lot of crap to sweep out the door before we get to where we need to get to. It could take a couple of years. We need to be patient. I hope it's not another false storm, because we've had so many. EastEnders fans, I feel you. I feel your pain. And I think, yes, Kate Oates is the right person at the right time.